Hare Krishna and welcome once again. So today let's do chapter 18 of the Sriman Narayaneeyam, which talks about King Pruthu Charitam. Okay, and this chapter is a summary of chapters 13 to 23 of Canto 4 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 4, chapters 13 to 23. Okay, so let's read the first verse of this chapter and then we'll do a quick translation. All right. जातस्य ध्रुवकुल एव तुङ्गकीर्तेर् अङ्गस्य व्यजनिसुतः सवेन नामा तद्दोषव्यतितमतिः स राजवर्या त्वत्पादे निहितमनावनं गतो बोल. The last session we discussed about Dhruva Maharaj, right? And in that lineage there was a king named Anga, okay, a very famous king who was a descendant of Dhruva Maharaja, Anga Maharaj. He was a very pious king, all right, but he had a son, Vena, who was just the opposite. He was very cruel, a very wicked person, okay, and his cruel activities are described in detail in chapter 13 of Canto 4 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Anga Maharaj was very, very sad, but then he thought a bad son is better than a good son, because a good son creates attachment to home and family, right? Whereas a bad son does not, and an intelligent person can easily get detached from material affairs. Thus thinking, he leaves for the forest to spend the rest of his life in contemplation of the Lord. Okay. Then the leading citizens of the kingdom made his son Vena the king. Though Vena was cruel, though he was wicked, he was very strong and had great prowess. Okay, but then when he became king, what happened? He started boasting about his prowess, and he stopped all yajnas, all sacrifices, all sorts of worship to the Lord. Everything was stopped. Okay. Now, once a few sages came there to the palace to advise Vena on good conduct. But then Vena abused them. He abused the Lord and said that there is no Lord except me. I am the Lord of everything. Now the sages get very angry and they curse Vena. And in the flame of that curse, he was destroyed. Vena got destroyed like a moth. Okay. Now, when there was no ruler, all the thieves and rogues flourished, and the kingdom became unregulated, and the citizens suffered greatly. Okay. Now, these thieves, these rogues, they had heard about Vena, and they knew that Vena was even more cruel than them. So, they were very scared of Vena, and they were all hiding here and there. But when they came to know that Vena was no more, they came out of their hiding places and started creating havoc in the state. Okay. So then the sages realized that the absence of a ruler would lead to tyranny of the wicked. So they took Vena's body, which was it was preserved by his mother. They took the body and started churning the body. They churned the body. First they churned the thighs, and from there emerged a dark entity, a dwarf who was black as a crow. Okay? And it is said that he is the personification of all the sins of Vena, and he is said to be the Naishada race is said to be the descendants of this entity. All right, and the Naishadas are very sinful people who were allowed to live only in the hills and mountains. Okay, and then after that, when the body was totally when all the sins of Vena was removed from the body, when the body became sinless, the sages again churned. They churned his arms. They churned the arms of Vena, and from there emerged Pruthu, who was an incarnation of the Lord. Okay, so see, God dwells in everybody. Okay, in everyone's heart. God dwells in everyone's heart, but then we are not able to see Him, or we are not able to experience the Lord because of our anarthas, or the hordes of sins that are there in us. And when the anarthas are removed, what happens? Then the Lord becomes manifest. And this is exactly what is depicted here in this churning of Vena's body. Okay, this is brought out here in this principle, in this figure of churning the body. When all the sins were removed, then the Lord appeared, Prithu Maharaja. And when Prithu was born, all the gods started singing hymns in praise of the Lord and also about his future achievements. Okay. Now, during Vena's period, the earth, Mother Earth, had withdrawn all her resources into her interior because of Vena's oppression. Now, when Prithu became king, he took up his bow and arrow and ordered Mother Earth to yield back all the resources, which she did. See, this is what happens, when you take due advantage, when you take too much, when you start looting nature. Only human beings do that. When you loot nature, what happens? Nature retorts back in various ways. Like we have droughts, heavy floods, and recently we had this COVID, when human beings were locked inside their houses and animals and birds freely moved about on the streets, right? Sometimes there were so many nice, beautiful birds walking around, and I've really wondered where these birds were hiding until then. Yeah, this is what happens when we take advantage and loot nature. Nature retorts back. Okay, and here, because of Vena's oppression, Mother Earth had withdrawn all her resources into her interior, and during Prithu's time, she was asked to yield back the resources, which she did. Okay, and here it is said that Prithu Maharaja made the gods and other species of beings to freely milk the earth, who had become like the celestial cow Surabhi, and the leaders of the different groups of gods and other beings acted as calves, milking their desired requirements in appropriate special vessels, which means that the earth had become resourceful. Yeah. Now, Prithu Maharaja, he leveled up the surface of the globe, which was full of ups and downs, and then he earmarked different places for residential purpose, as residential areas, agricultural lands, mining, forts. Okay, and then he made beautiful plans for towns and villages. Before his time, there was no such arrangement, and therefore Prithu Maharaja is known as the father of modern day town planning. Towns were planned, everything was planned beautifully. Then Prithu Maharaja started preparations for Ashwamedha Yajna. Okay, and when he completed 99 yajnas and he was about to start the 100th yajna, Indra got scared. He became jealous. Indra is always very scared and jealous of people who do yajnas, because he thinks that he might lose his position. So he came in the guise of a very lowly person and he stole the horse, the sacrificial horse, the yajna horse. Then Prithu's son went after Indra and got the horse back, and thus this Prithu's son came to be known as Vijidashvana, the one who won the horse back. Okay, and Indra kept on trying to steal the horse. Off and on, he used to come and try to steal the horse before the 100th yajna. But then once these priests conducting the sacrifice got hold of him, they got hold of him. They got hold of him and they were about to offer Indra into the fire when Brahma appeared and asked them not to do so. Okay, and here the poet Bhattadri says, when the sacrifice was completed, thou as Prithu saw thyself manifested as Vishnu. Who is Prithu? The incarnation of the Lord himself, right? So when the sacrifice was over, when the 100 yajnas were over, Lord Vishnu appeared there. So that's why Bhattadri says, thou as Prithu saw thyself manifested as Lord Vishnu. And Prithu asked for firm devotion alone as a boon and nothing else. Okay, and then he settled down on the banks of the Ganges and preached the principles of dharma to a group of sages. And there he saw Sanaka and the other sages also there in the group, and receiving the ultimate knowledge imparted by Sanaka and other sages, and living in the forest, Prithu attained self-realization. Okay, and here Bhattadri, the poet Sri Melpattur Narayana Bhattadri Pad, winds up this chapter saying, O Lord of Guruvayur, who embodied thyself as Prithu, be pleased to quickly cure me of all my ailments. Yeah. Now the Lord incarnates for various reasons, right? To teach us various lessons. In this incarnation as Prithu, he teaches us how to live as a good human being, how to be a good king, especially for rulers, how to be a good ruler, how to develop a state, how to fight enemies, how to perform yajnas. Okay, these are the things that he teaches through this incarnation of Prithu Maharaja. Okay, now we'll stop here for the time being, and I'll see you soon with chapter 19, which is about the Prachetas. The Prachetas are the descendants of Prithu Maharaja. Okay, I'll see you soon with this. Until then, take care, and thank you for watching. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.